there, thanks for joining me to color. Today we're going to be working on this adorable Stampin' Bella image called Bonnie Loves Bows. Isn't she cute? Love her. Love that cute dress and that huge heart. I will put a link down in the description box to the card kit and all the supplies I used. I would love for you to come shopping with me. If you have a question, leave me a comment and I will make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, I have already stamped my image on Neenah 80-pound Solar White cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink, so let's color. Alright, so I like to start by giving my image an outline. For that, I'm going to use C00. And let's see here. I'm going to start down here at her shoe, or on her bow, and I'm just going to go all the way around. And I like to do it first so I don't have to worry about touching anything else I've colored and bringing it out into the background, because I would definitely do that. I'm very messy. And if I get some on her, I can erase it, so I don't have to worry. Usually it's such a light color, I don't usually worry about it. If I get some on her or on my image, I just leave it there. We're just going to go all the way around. And then we want to go back down to the other side of her shoe. And she's got a couple of spaces right here in her neck that are backgrounds. I'm going to color those. And I don't usually worry about how white it is. I just let the pen go along the edge, and as white as it goes is what I get. Let's give her some ground to stand on next. For that, we're going to use B91, C3, C1, and C00. I'm going to start with my B91. And I'm just going to give her a few little dots around her foot. So I'm just going to go over here. Make a few little dots. And try to keep them closer to her shoe. And then we're going to add C3. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to dot around her foot. And I'm going to go out a little bit past my blue dots. And then we're going to add C1. Same thing, we're going to go over all this, and I'm going to pull it out a little bit further past my last gray dots. And I'm not worried if I touch other dots, I'm just dotting along. And the faster you go, the smaller your dots will be. The slower you go, the fatter your dots are going to be. Okay, and then I'm going to add C00. And for that, I'm just going to wipe over the top of those other 3 colors and kind of smush them all together. And I think I'm going to go back with a second coat of my B91. Just put a few more in here. Let's do her skin and her cheeks next. For her skin, we're going to use E21, 00, 000, and for her cheeks, I'm going to use R02 and R01. And I'm going to start with my E21. And she's got a little bit of her fingers showing right down here, so I'm going to color those first. Nothing fancy, we're just going to color them right in. They're really dinky. And then we'll go up here and we will do her face and her neck. Right down. And we'll add a little dab to her ear. And then I'm going to go right along her hair. Next I want to add E00. I'm going to go ahead and fill her neck in. And her ear. And then we want to brush this out here into my white. And I'm going to come around the bottom. I'm going to give it a second coat, so I'm going to leave a white space. Next, we want to add some cheek color, so for that, I'm going to start with RO2. And let's see, I'm going to do a little bitty dot over here, and I try to keep it kind of towards her ear on the other side of her eye. And then we'll soften that with our RO1. And then I'm going to add a second coat of my E00. So brush right over the top of that cheek. And go up here into her forehead so I can soften that line that's up there. And then I'm going to swipe over her entire face with my E000. And then if you wanted to make her cheeks pinker, you could give them a second coat. For her hair, I'm going to use E37, 35, and 55, and I'm going to start with my E37. And let's go up here and we'll add a little bit of that to her little bun. And then we'll come down here and we'll add some to below her bow. And then over here it's kind of going behind this bangs over here, so I'm going to add a little bit right in there. And then I want to add some to the ends. I'll bring this one up just a little bit more. And then I want to continue going across the edge of her bow. And then over here. Next, I want to add E35. And then we'll add E55. Then I'm going to go back with another coat of my E37 and just add a little bit of that dark back in there. Let's go down here and do her socks next. For that, we're going to use W6 and W4. I'm going to start with my W6. And for that, I'm just going to do a little dab underneath of her skirt. And I'm going to try not to color in those dots. I'm going to try to leave those white. I'm going to go down. And I'm just going to go down the inside of each leg. So you can kind of make your line thick, that way you cover both sides. But be careful of those dots. Then we're going to add W4. And I'm going to fill in the rest of her little socks. And remember, be careful of those little dots. I'm going to try not to color them in. If you do color them in, you can always use your Sharpie white paint pen to make them white again. Just add some paint dots right over the top. And then I'm going to add a second coat of my W6. Let's hop up here and do the ruffle on her dress next. For that, we're going to use Eve 50. And for that, I just used the little swirls that are already here and colored right over the top of those. And I didn't worry about the white space that I left in there. I just did all the little swirls and then left white in the middle. And then later I went with my Spica glitter pen and I went over all those little swirls with my pen. Next, we're going to do the hair bow, her dress, the bow on the heart, and her shoes. For that, we're going to use our 89, 85, 83, and 81. And we're going to start with our R89. Let's stop up here on her little bow first. I'm going to get a little dab right along the edge here. And then I'm going to bring it out just a little bit and kind of give it a little bit extra there in the middle. And then for her bow, let's do the inside right here. And then I want to go down each of these lines. And then for the edge, there's a couple little lines right here, so I'm going to do the inside of those lines. So there would be a little bit white. And even though it doesn't go all the way across right here, I'm going to bring it across. Then we'll do the little knot. So let's do this line around the side there. And then we'll do the inside of this one. And then again, we want to do these lines. And then let's give it a little bit up here. And then, of course, a little bit along this edge. Then we'll grab R85. And we just want to soften the edge of that 89. And let's bring this one around over here. And then over here, we'll do the same over here on this one. And then over here, next we'll add our 83. And then let's go over the entire bow with our R81. Then, okay, that's pretty good. So let's hop down here and we'll do her dress. So again, we're going to start with our R89. And I'm going to do the R89 right along the bottom of her, this little heart. Around her little fingers there. And then down here at the bottom, let's pull this up just a little bit along the edge of her skirt. And then I want to do these lines. So let's go. Here's a line. And then here's one where it dips down, so I'm going to do a little bit in there. And then here's a little dip right here. And then here's another little dip right here. And we'll go over here and do this side. So here's a line up here at the top. And then here's one of those little dips. And then right here, there's a little line. So I'm going to make that have a dip right here. Then we'll go down this one. Then we're going to add R85. So we want to go over the top of that R89. And let's use this color to make a little line right here. We gotta do this side. Okay, then let's see. And let's bring this right here. There's looks like there's a little dip right there. Then I'm going to grab R83. And then we will fill it in with our R81. And I'm going to swipe over her entire dress. Looking good. So now let's do this little bow here on her heart. So again, we're going to start with our R89. And let's try not to color those little dots again. I'm going to leave those white. I'm going to go around there. And then I'm going to fill in this section. That's the inside of the bow right here. Same for this side. And then over here, let's do a little dab right next to the edge there. And then we're going to do these little bow lines. And let's give it a little dip right here. And let's see, this little bow right here is coming out. So let's do that. And a little bit down here on the bottom. Then we want to add R85. Pick it up there, you. And while I have my R85, right here on the top of this, her heart right here is a little bitty piece of dress. I'm going to color that in while I've got it out, because I forgot about it. Then I want to add R83. Again, try to be careful of those dots. I got a few of them, so I'm going to have to use my colorless blender to try to get some of that off. And then we'll fill the rest in with our R81. Let's see here, got a couple little lines. We'll try to get rid of those. Then we'll hop down here and we'll do her shoes. So again, I'm going to start with my R89. And let's just do a little bit on each of these lines. R89 is really dark, so I'm going to try to do just a little dab. Whoops, I got a little crazy on that one. Then we'll add R85. Add a little bit to that knot in the middle, and I'm going to color this side of the bow in. And then I want to bring a little bit on each side of her shoe. Then I want to add R83. And then we'll go over her entire shoe with our R81. So that leaves us with this little heart up here. For that, we're going to use R39, 29, 17, 05, and 22. We're going to start with our R39. And let's start right here at this bow. And I want to go all the way around. And be careful over here with your hand. I'm going to go ahead and cover this little section up. That's right behind that bow there. And then we're going to go around our fingers. And then I want to do around the outside of my heart. So over here, let's do, I want to leave a little bit of light there on the edge. And then let's go up here. We need to go around the other side. And let's see, let's do up here. All the way around. Okay, then we're going to grab R29. And we want to brush away from our R39, so I'm going to touch down on top of it and brush out here into my white. This in. I'm going to go ahead and bring this over the top here next to the edge. I was trying not to have it blend in quite so much with her skirt or her dress down here. So this gives it a little bit of a contrast there. Okay, now we want to go right away from this. Next, we're going to add R17. Oops, I should have done this side. I'll go ahead and fill that in with this one. And let's bring this up here. Then we want to add R05. And then we will go over the entire thing with our R22. Okay, I'm going to go back and let's do R17. And next we'll do R05. And then a second coat of our R22. So there is our adorable Bonnie Loves Bows, all colored up. Isn't she cute? And then again, here's my finished card. So on my finished card, I added some Spigot glitter pen to her hair and all these little lines down here in her ruffle on her dress. I added some Sharpie white paint pen to this little heart here to make those little dots. And then the cinnamon has popped up, and the cinnamon does come with the stamp this time. That's always really cool. And the little images popped up. And then I used some liquid glue to attach this halfway, and then the rest up here is just flipped up. And for this little tag right here, I had the little tag. And what I did was I looped my string around this way, and then I stuck it through here, like that. And then on this side, I'm going to hold it over here underneath my finger. I'm going to stick it through here again, hopefully. Only this time, I want it to be on the other side of my wraparound. So I've got this thing wrapped around, and I want it to go on this side. So I've got, whoops, get back on there. So I've got one on each side, like this. And then I'm going to, let's see here if I can hold it down with my finger. I want to tie this in a knot. To hold it down so it's attached like this. And then I tied a little bow, which I definitely probably will not be able to do while I'm trying to on the camera, because I fiddled with the other one for like ever. But you fiddle with it until you get it just the way you want it, and then you can cut it off, and you get this twine in your kit, so you can, and I give you a long piece so that you can make sure to get plenty to play with. But you just play with it until you get it exactly how you want, and then you can trim off the little ends here, and you have a little tag right here. So I hope you had fun coloring with me today. If you have a question, make sure and leave me a comment, and I will get back to you. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.